Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it, Your girl said he broke her heart. Your boy said she didn't love him from the start. It was never meant to be. You ask me how I know, cause everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it,
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Everybody's Talking About It. We are still in season 5 going up. Yes. This is episode 8 where we are getting into the 90's. Man, we are on the show when we talk about everything everybody talking about, and the 90's is definitely not going to be left out. I am your boy, Mark J. We got Eternal back in effect. What's up?
Yeah.
I'm the baby of the group, so you were more growing up outside of the 90's, but let's introduce you to some shit. What's up, Ricky? What's up, Ricky?
Hey, y'all, and you can say I'm the oldest one in the group. It's fine.
No, actually, you're not.
Who's older?
Vicky is celebrating her 40th not too long ago, and that is it. And looking good as a motherfucker.
Don't.
Happy belated, beautiful.
Yeah.
So come on, she already knows. So she was growing a little older in the 90's actually, but still. We got it. Charlie.
What's up?
Charlie's no longer. He's not a spring chicken himself.
Okay.
So
I'm 34.
I am actually second to the youngest at the table. So I'll take pride in that. So we're gonna get into it. Basically, I wanted to talk about how the 90's basically ultimately shaped so much. I know that we lived through so many different eras. The 60's ushered in something, the 70's ushered in something, the 80's, but the 90's were such a turn of the century. I really believe like so many things happened in the 90's that it was just like insane. And this is across the board, across the world. Like we were introduced to so much that was introduced. Some things were introduced in like the late 80's, like music videos. But really got expanded over into the 90's and really became big and became a thing. The different cartoons and things that started to, exist and live and all of that. So let's get into our favorite memories about the 90's. Charlie, what was your favorite memory about the 90's?
One of my favorite memories about the 90's is playing outside playing curveball. You take you had to live on a little block. You can't do a two-way street. You had to do a little block. I used to live on Opal Street in North Philly off of 19th Cambridge. And you make sure no cars was parked right there, and you'll take your basketball, and you gotta get your ball to hit the curve and come back. And then it used to be like you do doubles, you go bounce one curve and come to the other curve, you get points, so you can play to 100.
And that's your favorite memory?
That was one of my favorites.
Oh, well, good for you.
Good
for you. What's yours?
I actually miss Double Dutch and
That's a good one.
You took my answer. Sorry, boo.
Remember drill teams?
They started to bring them back out
with the puff balls on the back of the boots.
Teams and all that stuff. Like I don't care.
Catch
a girl, get a girl. Just
yes.
All that.
Catch a girl, catch a girl, freak a girl. Come on.
Just playing outside. Period.
That's
why they all fat and out of shape, and they're getting diabetes and all that early. I'm sorry. I think this is true. It's really happening.
It is. It really is.
I agree.
They don't run. They don't play.
My favorite thing. I love the 90's. Is my favorite decade.
Mine too.
My very favorite thing is sitcoms from the 90's.
Yes.
Especially A Different World. I love it. Martin, I love it.
Yes.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I love
Yes,
it.
I love it.
It was just something that we
Living
did
Single?
as a family. Like we would always sit there. Our curfew was 9 o'clock.
The street lights came on.
We could only watch the shows until 9 o'clock. Then we had to go to bed.
Did y'all realize it actually got darker at 9 o'clock though? Back in the day,
It did.
like we had more time outside. Like at least I did.
I feel so I did too. Yeah.
Like I was outside, like dark. It was dark at
And the
9:30.
street lights come
Eternal.
on.
For the little bit that you remember.
Get the milk from behind your ear.
Aww.
What's your favorite?
Oh man, the 90's. I want to go with the R&B.
Good music.
You stole my answer.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's nothing like the music of the 90's to me. I really feel like, but that's how, any generation would feel about their time of growing up in music. I hear it all the time from my mom. But for me, it was like, that's how it was. Like the 90's, you had so many different artists out at the same time that were creating such a sound that was big. Like you had your older artists, and then you had the young teenage artists that were like really, really like singing like adults.
Yeah,
Like
they
really,
were.
really
Cute
singing
Monica, yeah, she's so grown.
Yeah,
Monica had a grown woman church.
Yeah, Monica had a
Sandy,
Monica had a
remember
grown
Sandy?
woman
You know she's
leader.
Adele.
Monica was
Yeah, because
she
she
was
was
a
little
grown
then.
He was so little, but he was so
See?
grown. Sandy?
Oh yeah, but Sammy,
His
I
voice
was
wasn't.
So...
Wrong.
but Sammy
But was
to me,
Sammy the 90s?
no, Sammy was early 2000. Like Sammy was top 2000 for me. Like
Well,
I
yeah,
remember.
because it's fine.
I like the way you look at
Let me
me.
slow down. It's like...
I remember, but it was that turn of the sound. But for you, like I agree with the Monica thing. She was, you know, overall
One
very
of the
mature
best.
herself. And I think that Aaliyah, they all were very mature at that time.
Aaliyah.
Well, a mature sound, a mature look. And they just carried themselves differently than what the artists of like today are like doing.
I agree.
Real
You know
bodies
what I'm
in the 90s.
Yeah,
That's
real
what you
body.
natural.
Natural.
Let's talk
Natural
about
bodies.
how-
Cute natural
But
bodies.
you gotta remember, though,
Insert
even in the 90s, the
chat.
things
We're
that we
in the chat
praise
now.
now weren't things that we praised then. I remember, because you brought up a sitcom, and I remember the sitcoms. But I remember, like, nowadays, you know how nowadays fat asses are like a big thing. But I remember watching this episode of Moesha, and where she got voted biggest butt. It was
She
like a
didn't
bad
really
thing.
have
And
that.
they didn't really have a bad. It was such a
Yeah.
bad thing. It was like, you got the biggest butt award. And then she
Jennifer
was like,
Lopez,
oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a bad thing. Now it's kind of like, if you ain't got no fat ass, who are you? You know, you need a fat ass nowadays.
Everybody want to be
You
thick.
need
now.
one.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy?
Everybody want to be thick.
Everybody want to be thick.
And I'm glad that you brought up music, E, because I am wearing Philly's own Boys
Come
to
on,
Men.
Boys
Come on,
So
ABC.
nice.
Hey.
And to even be even more biased, you know, you know, it's always got to throw this in to be a little bit more biased, bro.
Okay.
Creative Performing Arts alumni. Hey, Boys to Men.
Kappa.
Sabrina's in the building out there. Kalia's in the building out there. Us Kappa graduates out here. We are here.
Congratulations.
But honestly, the reason why I particularly wore this shirt is because they were like, for me, the premier boy group of the 90s. For me, like it was like nobody. They started that. It really did. I felt like New Edition in the 80s ushered in Boys to Men for us. Like, and we got to
Can
see.
you stand the rain?
Yep. We got to see the pandemonium of what a boy group would exist in, you know, outside of like, because I always say when you think about it, like the 70s was the Jackson 5, the 80s was New Edition, the 90s Boys to Men, and then the 2000s was B2K. And you got a chance to see that growth of like a wild pandemonium. Well, I'm not going to say that. The reason why I didn't say, now don't get me wrong. Those groups were all big. Like in the 90s, you had Drew Hill, you had Jodeci, you had Jagged Edge, you had all these groups. But Boys to Men was like the turn of the century. It was like total pandemonium when they would come out, and then they were Grammy winners, and they would win all these awards. They was making diamond albums, soundtracks. Boys to Men was pretty much the 90s for us, and, you know, as for a boy group. Other groups were, of course, successful. But what I mentioned, why I said the groups that I named were because they were like the front runners of that decade. And that's just, you know, when you instantly think of the 90s, the first song you probably will think about is Motown Philly. It's like one of the most 90s songs that you will ever like hear. It don't even matter if you're from Philly or not. So you know, it's a deep feeling. I feel like, here's the thing, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the 90s is the one decade where you can instantly connect the memory to.
Absolutely.
Like, it don't even matter what age you fall
Don't
into.
matter.
It's like a memory that triggers you to the
Facts.
90s. That's like, oh, this is instantly an influential decade.
It is. It definitely was. I was in like middle school at the time.
In the 90s.
Yeah. And I started
And what were you in high?
I started high school.
Sorry,
Well, that was
In 99. Yeah, I started high school in
99.
99. So like
That's
the
crazy.
90s was like it for me. Like all of my high school, you know, like meeting my first little boyfriends, and going to the rec and playing, you know, with my little girlfriends and my sleepovers. Oh my God, my first shit.
Yes. I miss
All of it is gonna
I used to try to get caught. Back
Try to
in the
get
day, we was
caught?
playing Catch a Girl, Get a Girl.
Purposely get caught. So they put up on your booty.
I used to be like, oh my God, stop.
Wait, not just somebody that you like, but the person that you
Yeah, the one
didn't
that I
like.
like. I mean, like, you gotta fight the one you don't like. Get off of me.
I'm not playing anymore.
You
That's the same thing.
sexual
That's the
harassment.
same thing. Remember spinning the bottle, you be sitting there like this, guys. That is falling on her. And then that shit will fall on somebody. Oh man.
I'm not playing no more.
Hey, you ain't gonna play no more. That was the thing. I don't want to play no more. And that's why I never play 7 Minutes of Heaven, because I'm not sitting in the closet.
No.
I never played that.
Who all playing?
Yeah.
Right.
Who all playing?
Who all playing? I remember back in the day, it would be like, some people were nervous about that. I remember we played Spin the Bottle at a 13th birthday
Oh, child,
party.
please. Please, not I remember.
My friend was so scared to kiss this damn girl. He was, my friend Amir, man, I wonder where he at. He would be like, he was like this. He would, hold on. Hold on, it's gum. It's the gum. And I was like, yo, bro,
Like,
just kiss her.
hurry up.
Just kiss her. He like,
Just spit it out.
come to find out, he didn't like her. He thought she was ugly. So that's why he didn't like kissing. But he would just be like, I can't get this gum out. Like, it just won't come out.
What? Oh, if you
What
scared,
about
get
when
a
all
dog.
chips used to be a quarter a bag though? Like you used to be able to take a
Oh,
dollar.
yeah.
$1.
Yeah.
You used to get chips, drinks, and a cake.
Get a hug.
The condom
was
I'm
different.
my oatmeal cream pie.
Yeah, that's what
A bag of
I go your one better.
And a
Remember, if you had a
McDonald's.
field trip for school, you could really get like a whole hoagie chips and a
Chips
soda
and
for
a-
$3.
Yeah.
Right? And I would always tell my mom,
Oh,
you know, large hoagie
I
chips
remember
in the
that.
90's was just amazing, amazing time. Amazing time.
Get
The
the
fashions were a little.
And the fashions is coming back around.
They're coming back with the color
Yeah,
blocking
that's
and stuff like that.
And a lot of my little butterfly hair clips, my butterfly prints that I do. 'Cause, you know,
Is
I'm
that
like,
coming back or you bring it back?
I'm a girly girl, so it's definitely coming back. Like I see it, you know, online and on the different websites and stuff like that. My mom always say like things come back around, like the bell
Yeah,
bottoms
they do.
for her
They do.
Yeah.
came back around, and like the flare
Yeah.
jeans for her, and like the platforms for her came
Yeah.
back around. So that's now a new thing.
And the
So it's like
afros.
it just, you know,
People
Yeah.
rocking the
stuff.
afros and stuff again, and
Yeah.
I hope,
Little
I really
puffballs.
hope, I hope the process don't come back. Don't bring back the process, because I ain't nobody sitting through that.
Well,
They
what's
better
the
not bring it-
process?
The Jerry
You got it
curls.
when the guy gets
Jerry
the perm.
curl?
Well, that's
like
more
that.
70s.
Oh no, not no
80s.
Jerry curl. No,
That's when you cut it off.
that's where we drawing the
They
line.
better not bring back that French roll and that pump.
Oh,
Give me that French roll. Let me put some rollers in the back of my little
that is
butt.
Rihanna.
With
That
the
was Rihanna.
roll.
That was Rihanna's stepmom thing back in the
It
day
was,
in the 90s.
and I was like 10 with a
French
fucking
roll.
French roll.
Yeah, I have
And the
one
little
too.
waterfalls, the little all crunchy
Oh.
with the spritz. And shit.
And them
It was
hard
like thing.
curl wraps, the wraps that curl real tight under. Oh, I'm done
It was
already.
bumped. It was beveled.
bumped and beveled.
That's
So
how
who
you-
is somebody when you eat that takes you straight back to the 90s when you think of that person, or you know, you get reminiscent of that? Not like family wise. It could be an entertainer.
I want to say Neil Long.
Neil Long will definitely
Yeah.
instantly take you back to
Yeah.
the 90s.
Because Neil's been
I
a
love me
He's
some
been that
Neil
girl
Long.
for a long ass time.
I would say Stacey Dash for me. If it had to be a woman,
Yes.
Cut.
only because I remember her and the, you know, around the
To be
time.
honest with you, it's so funny.
That
Bob.
is one of my
I'm so
favorite
glad
movies.
that you brought this up
Yeah.
too. That you brought up that she was cut.
She's cut.
It's so funny because it's so crazy when you start realizing that we get so connected to these people by characters and by roles and by what they do that you don't realize these people really are real people with real fucking opinions that you do not have to agree with.
And that's
Like
why
that,
she's cut.
and see, and that's to her though. Stacey
know
Dash
what
come
happened.
back and they do a Clueless reunion. These girls, and they older, and now they got 2 daughters. I'm going to tune in.
Like, I'm not
tune in.
going to associate myself with people who have, like, opposite views and opinions of things that I believe in. Like, it's great. You can have your own opinion. You can have your own outlook on stuff, but they don't necessarily mean, like, we got to be cool about it.
But
Like, I like to be friends with people who have like-minded, like,
we don't know her.
views
Really.
about stuff.
We don't know that girl. She do a good movie. I'm gonna watch it. If she do a good movie, I'm gonna watch it. Here's the thing about
Stacey
it.
Dash do a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
She might as well
She
be
is coming.
Damn.
She's not a good actress. She gives me too
At
many
all.
vibes, but
She
remember
was
her
good
in
at
the 90s.
Clueless.
I digress.
It was a
I
couple
love
other
her.
things.
That's what
So,
I said.
it was. You guys see this movie? They play it on BET all the time. It's called
BET?
Dysfunctional. Yeah, it's called Dysfunctional Friends.
BET
It was.
movies.
Hold on. And here's the thing. To go even better with that, because it's a big cast. It's a big cast of people in that movie, actually. And a lot of people from the 90s is actually in that movie. And to be honest with you, she was the best thing in it. And that says a lot. That really says a lot when they
That's to say a lot. Or
But for me,
But
what-
90s movies were, like,
Really?
I'm gonna go you because I agree.
It was like,
when you know how they got classics like 90s, like for me, like certain
There aren't
movies
any
that
in
make
the
me
90s.
think of the 90s is like Set It Off and things like that
Don't
were
Be
well
Menace.
done and stuff. But I agree with you. It was some movies in the 90s that we really loved back in the 90s and that you could look back and be like, ooh, this shit is hard to like
Like, who
actually
wrote
sit
this?
through.
Yeah.
Like y'all gonna hate me for this.
I love House
man.
Party.
As
That
funny
was the
as
movie.
this is,
You
as
better
funny
not.
as this movie was,
What?
it was a terrible movie. Don't be a menace to South
That's
Central.
what I'm saying.
A terrible fucking
I
movie.
thought you were gonna say House Party. I was like,
No. First of all, House Party was an amazing movie. That wasn't far. First of all, just the whole theme of that movie makes, and that's I'm so glad you brought that up
Like
too,
that.
because that's one of the movies that instantly draw you back to the 90s. And that's why for you horrible people that decided to try to make a remake of that, LeBron.
I thought it was okay.
LeBron.
I didn't see it yet.
Okay.
LeBron?
I saw last week.
Why would you do that?
What did he do?
That's just
He produced it. It's his
Oh,
movie.
did he?
Yeah. And I'm like,
Oh,
bro.
the new one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why he had to make sure
Yeah, I
he
saw
had
that.
like
Basketball thing.
some
and stuff.
like some
I
scenes in
noticed
there. Like
that.
I'm only gonna be in it if I get to bust his ass in this game.
Yeah.
Like that's what I got from it when I saw it. It was
I didn't like the
why
movie.
you
I'll
here?
watch it.
The
Yeah,
movie, you see what I like
I get
about like those, like the
In the ring. It was like, oh, I have to like showcase my championship ring.
You wanna
It
know
has
the
to be a
difference?
part
So I
of
didn't
this
see it. You
film.
saw it? I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
but
I
let
saw
me
it.
tell you
Alright, I'm not
what,
gonna say nothing else,
what I
sorry.
like about the 90s though, of with their filmmaking though, is the rawness of it. And that's what made us like it.
Mhm.
So that's what made you like House Party, because it was reminiscent of our lives. Like you literally knew that you couldn't be out past the street. Like you knew damn well you wasn't going to the party if you got an F on that fucking report card, or if you got a call. Like you already knew that, and you would do it anyway. You would still throw on your flyest outfit, throw a party, and go out, even though you knew
I
you
was
was in trouble.
definitely that girl that would sneak out.
Me too.
I
know it. I know it for a fact. And
I
was
used to
still.
sneak out.
And mind you, I already had my outfit
I
planned
wouldn't
out,
do
so
it
I
if
would
I
throw my
did
fly
that.
shit on and still
I
sneak
wouldn't
out
do
and
it.
go
I
out.
would sneak out.
I was
What did you do?
terrified.
I was terrified
And I
too,
used
but I
to
would
be
do it.
out like 1 o'clock in the morning. Out like it was bad.
I
Like
wasn't
now, I be
that
thinking
bad.
like,
I wasn't that
bitch,
bad.
somebody could have fucking kidnapped you, trafficked
I was
you.
a punk.
Like what? Like it was really crazy.
I was
Like
so
I used
scared
to
of my
really
dad.
sneak out. It was real.
See,
bad.
that's what makes those movies bad, is when you try to redo them and then you put
When
these
you
50 to
try.
$60 million budgets behind them and you make them cheesy. Like
Yeah.
you'll put 10 to 12 celebrities in it to play themselves, to come to LeBron's house, to throw this part. It's a corny fucking thing. Like what we
Give
love.
away the movie.
Well, whatever.
You didn't see
It's
No,
too
he
late.
wasn't.
It's too late.
It was about to go in. It
It's
was
too
about
late.
to.
It's too
too
late.
late.
Because here's the thing, and then when you watch that, then you start, like I said, you start to think about the reasons
Yeah.
why you love it. Like even with Set It Off, like I wouldn't want to see it with any bigger budget than what it was. Like I loved
Okay,
it the
yeah.
way it was, because it was
raw.
so
It's
raw.
really
It
good.
was, you could see the
Real.
hunger of
Well, it's
why
hard.
they
It's hard
needed
to
to rob the
recreate
bank.
that.
All the,
Yeah.
even how the film was shot.
Yeah.
It wasn't no big old action sequence when you see a car slow motion flip up in the air.
Yeah.
And all that, no, it's raw.
Even the
like,
play,
just
even
get
the play
it
was
for what
weird.
it
I
is.
would have rather saw the movie, even when they did the Set It Off play. And then
I did see the play.
It was good, but it
I
wasn't
did
the
like the
movie.
play.
The play was
I thought
really
Kyla Pratt, and as much as she's denied as much as I love her, she made a horrible Stoney.
She was in a play.
Yeah, she
I
played
didn't see the
Stoney.
play. I
Terrible.
haven't seen the
Stoney.
play.
Terrible.
I
The
didn't
only
see
people that was great in the play version was Latoya killed it as Frankie. She was amazing. She did a really
I
good
love
job.
Latoya Luckett.
Yeah,
I love Latoya Luckett. That's
I
an
love
actress.
her.
I love you.
And Debrat did great as Cleo.
I can
She
see
did
that.
really, really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
She did really good. I like how they really extend some musical moments in there. So she got the freestyle rap in it a little bit. So it was good to hear her rap again.
Oh, I wanna watch
That was
it
fine. It was a good
I
play.
bet.
Overall, with the themes of making it nostalgic to what it was, like recreating that Queen Latifah scene in the car and recreating a lot of those moments
Yeah.
was good. That was nostalgic. But would I want to see a remake of the film in theaters? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not.
Really?
No,
Not.
absolutely not. Because it's like.
Man.
Just
When
leave
they
well
remix
enough
stuff,
alone.
it is-
And here's
it's
the
horrible.
problem. The difference is that too is that at the
Leave
time,
one enough
what I
alone.
love about those '90s actresses,
What's it,
because you
Love
brought me
Island?
along too, and
Okay.
she spoke about this a while. I mean, not recently, because she's actually doing. She did some promotion for a film that's out called You People with
I wanted to do
Lauren
Eddie?
London and
yeah.
Eddie Murphy and all them. Y'all gotta check it out. It's on Netflix.
I gotta check
Is
it out.
it?
And-
It's out already?
It's out already.
Yeah.
I'm going home to watch
I
it.
can't wait
It's out.
to see it.
And y'all gotta check it out. And what she was saying inside of that film, well, I mean, inside of these interviews, was that it's an unspoken agreement with these black actresses at that time that they were coming up, because you already knew that the competition was fierce and that you had that the opportunities wasn't there for black actresses or black actors in general to
Yeah.
get these kind of roles. So you get to see the hunger and you get to see the drive and the ambition in their eyes, even when they're acting. Like you got these black actresses now that's just getting roles because they're big or because they're singers or they're reality stars.
True.
So it's like you don't get to see that passion in that no more. So you don't get to see the camaraderie. Because I also to that people would say that like how Nia Long was such a big actress in the 90s that if you saw her in the audition room, they would walk out. Like people would walk out because you knew that she would get the part. Like she was big at that time. So people like if you saw, they said if you saw Nia Long and Jada Pinkett inside of an audition back in the 90s, don't even go. Don't even sit because you know. Because they were. Now that makes sense. Because they were in every detrimental movie of the 90s. Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, Friday.
They were the
They were the it girls of the 90s. So it was like if you saw them, it's out. Love Jones, A Different World. All of that stuff. Love Jones is it.
Like,
again, why? Because of the passion, the drive, even the rawness of the filmmaking at that time. We now rely so much heavily on comedy and effects and all of that, and budget and money, and keeping up with the latest jokes and the latest sayings and stuff like Lit and all that. Every movie got to make sure that you know it's 2022, like Coming to America. When they redid that shit, it was just like you just trying to make sure that it fits into what's happening today and show this budget and it's at Rick Rouse house and it's at this. Like fuck that, you missing all the rawness of what the 90s was giving. That's what I miss about the 90s.
I like that.
Just the rawness.
Yeah, you even heard it in the rap, too.
Even the rap? Oh, my God, bro.
Wu-Tang Clan?
Let's talk about it.
You heard it.
Tupac. I got
Left Eye, Lisa
Lopez.
Lopez is two of the greatest musicians of all time, and they left such a clear mark in the 90s, you know what I mean? And to know that we only had Tupac in the industry for about 5 or 6 years before he was ultimately cut short. And even Left Eye being only 10 years in the game, and before her life was tragically taken from her as well. And it's just like these people really shaped the 90s and impacted the 90s. Like,
I mean, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Say it.
That I feel like the people that were really influential
were murdered. You took the words out of my brain.
They were taken
Go ahead,
out
snatch it down.
because of their influence, but I don't care how much.
Of course, of course.
Well,
I
Left
won't
Eye
say
was
nobody
a
in
little unique because
particular.
hers was a very unique car accident. That was a very strange.
A very unique
strange.
Why she's
The reason why I say unique is because it's a car.
I saw the video.
It was first of all, it's a video, and then it was 9 people in the car, and she was the only person
one.
that died, and then she was actually thrown from the car. So it was like it was a very.
That's
unique,
what they
say. That's what they say.
Where did she land? What did she land? What was the trauma? What was the impact? But I wasn't there, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't.
Charlie, you've been kind of quiet.
Yeah, you got all the colors on. Like, what's up? You got to like talk to
You got the swishy swatch.
You said.
All right, so I got an interesting question for y'all. Let's start with you, Charlie. If you could have been a part of anything of the 90s entertainment-wise, what would it have been?
All that.
All that. So when I ask this question, this could be fashion, it could be video, it could be.
And the other thing I would like to, I would love to have been on Zoom. I was on Zoom every day. Come on in Zoom, come on in Zoom, come on. You don't know that show? It used to come on Channel 12 at like 5
I would
o'clock.
have been on a Living Color.
That was PBS.
Yeah.
And
WHYY.
Rihanna would have said that.
I would have been on a Living Color.
You got 14 jobs. I loved In Living Color. I think In Living
love that
Color
show.
was amazing.
And so
Thanks to
many
In Living
people-
Color, we have Jim Carrey.
Yep.
We
Yes.
have Jennifer Lopez.
Bunch of
We
people.
have fucking everybody.
Everybody.
Marlon Wayans,
Marlon
Keena
Wayans,
Ivory
Marlon
Wayans,
Wayans.
Kim Coles. Oh my God,
So
Tommy
good.
Davidson, Kim Wayans. Oh my God, Kim
Yes,
Field. I mean, everybody have come through.
Everybody.
In Living Color. What an amazing show to know that that was. And you know, it's so crazy because at that time, you know, it was so much competition with you know, it was Saturday Night Live. You know, a satire, it's, you know, a comical sketch show.
Okay.
So
I've never watched Saturday Night Live.
So I got into it when I got older, and it's funny as hell.
it really is.
Sorry,
But they
I
have
watched
good
it.
eras. Like I really think that we've lost some good people when we've lost like the Maya
Arsenio.
Rudolph area. Yeah.
What's
What about you? What 90s effect would you have loved to have been a part of?
Ooh, y'all.
Go ahead and do it. I don't know what you're going to say, but I know it's going to be good.
Uncle Luke and a freak name.
I always said I wanted to go. I wish I was old enough to go to Freaknik.
I heard it was lit.
Because here's the thing with Freaknik, that was during the time where social media and stuff wasn't out, so you really could just do
You
what
can show
the
your
fuck you
ass.
wanted to
Out
do.
here.
And then you're a part of the lost pictures and stuff that's now being surfaced now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, wasn't no social media. You could really be out there sucking dick on a cop car, and ain't nobody know. Nobody would know.
So since y'all bringing up the Freaknik, we can't leave this without talking about the Greek.
The Greek, yes.
Yeah.
On South Street, yes.
But let me tell you, I used to be like 13 at the
I
fucking
never
Yo,
been, but-
Me too. I used to be young because my sister used to. do it.
Until
Shit.
remember when they started
Yeah,
talking
South
about
Street.
people going around giving people needles with AIDS and stuff in it. Remember
That and they used to do
It
that
was
at
rough.
the movie theaters and everything
Yeah,
too. And then the
put 'em in
phone
chairs.
booths. That's how old.
all this
we
stuff
are.
changed. They started.
They would put them in the phone booth, so when you like stick your finger,
Stick your
in,
finger
in.
Yep. It was raping
putting
girls
them
in the Greek. It just
seats on
changed.
the-
That's
at the
They stopped
crazy.
it.
And man, it was so much going on at that time. What about you?
Damn, what a
I'ma
time
say
to be
Martin.
alive.
Martin.
Martin. I love Martin. I love being a
Martin was
character
good.
on Martin.
I'm the only one that.
Damn, G.
He hates that show.
Yeah.
How you don't like
What?
Yeah, I didn't want to do it to
That's
him.
different.
Oh my god!
Because I'm different. Thank you.
But why? It was so many different characters. You couldn't
And
relate
that's
to not
fine.
one character.
He likes Shanae.
Okay.
You like Shanae?
I love Shanae.
I did say election name that. Oh my goodness, but
Oh my
oh my goodness,
I
but
love her.
I love Shanae.
For me,
Old McDonald had a farm. The wall. You didn't like
for me, I would have loved this to have been a part of all those background stories of hearing like the touring together when the camaraderie was at like top notch. Like hearing them old stories of like y'all said, like the Jodeci going on tour with like TLC and MC Hammer and all that back in the day. And all of that was probably like the littest moments ever, because just hearing them say that, and then like even watching, y'all gotta go on YouTube and see like these videos of like Queen Latifah, Lil Kim, Missy Elliott all being at their hotels, swimming, smoking cigarettes, and having a beer by the pool at the hotel, and they would just come out with like, and Missy would come out with her own digital camera, just walking around the pool.
That was my favorite.
And she'd be like, Kim, hey yo, Kim, and then they'd be literally at the hotel pool just chilling, vibing, and that's what I would have loved to have been a part of in the 90s. Just all that background shit. Like, let's hang out. Where y'all at? Meet us at the club. Because even like if y'all watch if y'all like have read Wendy Williams' book, or even watched her biopic and stuff. But Wendy would even talk about like all of the clubs and stuff in New York that you had to go through in the 90s. That would be like, that's where anybody was hanging. If you was getting your demos listened to, if you was like all of that, you would go through it. Like that shit would probably been like so fucking lit. Or even like when Wendy said that Total came up to the radio station and pressed her. Like all that shit, you want to be there for. Outside.
We had a time last night.
She said, Charlamagne. She said, remember Total came up here to beat my ass? She said, no, I ain't going outside. Fuck no, I ain't going the fuck out there. These bitches ain't gonna beat my ass.
Shit. Like Wendy used to really, Wendy was that girl. Wendy still is that girl.
It's that girl always
like, she
is.
set the tone. But yeah, she really used to be wildin'. Like I used to listen to her on Promenade 99 in the mornings, and I was still like big in high school at the time. Like she was
She been around.
But here's the thing why I always agree with her,
Like,
and why she's my inspiration, like why she's one of my inspirations of why I do what I do. The reason why I say that is because Wendy Williams does have a hint of mess to her, but it's like, here's the thing. But what I mean by Wendy is that what she always said, the reason why I say hint is because I'm not talking about shit that the world don't know.
Right.
We're not seeing.
Right.
I'm just putting a title to what it is. Like, she's not like a Tasha K who's literally sitting up here like lying.
No.
Like, no, I'm actually saying shit that could be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, Wendy called out the whole Aaliyah R. Kelly thing before it happened when it wasn't an issue. Now, here we are, circa 25 years later, here's 50 more bitches saying it's me too. So what's the problem? Like, and then here's the thing, even with her, people getting upset with her calling out Whitney Houston. Maybe if we would have did that sooner and we would have all rallied around her, we would probably still have Whitney and stop sitting here saying, Wendy, mind your business. It's like, no, I'm not coming at her. I'm on coke too. I just got off. So now I want her.
Now that just came from rehab.
Yeah, like
she
that's
was
how
real
she was. Wendy would say that. Like, I'm off. Like, I want you to get off. Like, like the realest shit that she ever said was like you saying like I've always imagined that me and Whitney would be in our 60s, laughing about like what we used to do. We in a better place, and it's like, but no, she won't get the respect for that. We just gonna get you should have never talked about it. It's not that, motherfucker.
It was different back then.
No.
People was like sensitive about shit that we should have been bringing awareness to.
Yeah.
But no, we'll call it messy, and we'll call it she being newsy, and it's not even really that. It's just about like this is what we need to do as far as being accountable for yourself. If I'm sitting here at a platform and I'm saying something that's in the media, instead of me just saying, all right, let's just keep it real. Yeah, I'm high as shit because I'm going through some stuff. Like, yeah. But like you said, a lot of things were taboo at that time. Like, you couldn't be who you really, wanted to be. You couldn't really be yourself. So that's what the 90s was about. Let us know down below in the comments. Go to our Instagram pages, all them pages, and let us know what was your favorite moments of the 90s. What moments you wish you could have been a part of in the 90s.
All of it.
All that shit. We want to hear all the juicy details. Take us back.
The dances. We forgot about the dances.
We can say
No, they used to be hard as shit. Remember they used to go fishing?
Let's go there.
So we'll check y'all out. We'll see y'all next week. We'll get into black on black crime, black on black in the community. We talking about that on episode 9. We'll see y'all then. Check us out.
We out.